for our first stream of the night, ARCA race coverage for the ARCA Menards General Tire 150 at Charlotte Motor Speedway for this 150-mile, 100-lap race to kickstart the biggest weekend in American motorsports, as we will have doubleheader live commentary streams every day between today, tomorrow, and Sunday, leading up to the Coca-Cola 600 Sunday night for the NASCAR Cup Series, and of course, earlier that same Sunday afternoon, the Indianapolis 500. And here today, we kick things off with ARCA. Again, 150 miles our scheduled distance for this race, 100 laps. Pretty short one, as most ARCA races are, doubled up with the Craftsman Truck Series race that will be later on tonight on a separate stream following this one. Starting on the pole tonight, you got Will Kimmel. We'll go through the rest of the starting order here in a little bit, but that pole lap of 30.611 for him, a 176.407 mile per hour average, and it was his first of 2 laps in qualifying in which he had set the pole. Brendan Queen comes into this race, I believe, as the current points leader. He has won 2 of the first 4 ARCA races this season, including the most recent one a couple weeks ago at Kansas Speedway. He also had a win in the season opener at Daytona. William Sawalch, who is in arguably the best equipment in the JGR Xfinity Series, or JGR, well, he is in the Xfinity Series, but the JGR ARCA Series program, and hasn't yet gotten a win this season. He's qualified particularly well, tends to run well early in the race, either gets caught up in an incident or just has something else going on. We do have Grant Enfinger from the Craftsman Truck Series in the field. He'll be driving a 97 car for ALL Construction. And that's going to be interesting to watch and see how a Truck Series regular is going to do in this ARCA field. Here today, of course, Cletus McFarland running, a.k.a. Garrett Mitchell, his actual name, but we'll be calling him Cletus throughout the course of the night, starting just outside the top 10 and 11th. Lawless Allen is back for another ARCA race, as he's been running full-time this season. He did get a win at Talladega earlier this year. And Brett Cruz is the only other winner in ARCA this season, winning on the short track at Phoenix. Of the first 4 races, Cruz is not in the field here today. So of the 4 races and the 3 different winners, only 2 drivers who have actually won a race this season are starting this one here tonight. And again, like I mentioned already, it's just the first live commentary stream of the weekend. Obviously, the scoreboard, at least on ARCA.com, is going to be on the right side of the screen when the race does begin. Because we are still beyond getting to the cars getting on the racetrack to begin tonight's action, their raw feed is not available at the moment. So the only way to have the starting lineup is on a separate page. So my camera might be covering it for the time being. Just waiting for a few extra people to join up in the chat before we go through the starting lineup of tonight's race. Shout outs to those of you that are already tuned in. Matthew Dorta, Bruno, Full Throttle 73, Emo Gene Blevins, and others. Welcome into the stream. It is a bit weird having Fox carrying the Indianapolis 500 this weekend, in comparison to most years, it being, well, recent years on NBC. My entire childhood, it was ABC, ESPN carrying the Indianapolis 500, but first year of that on Fox. And tonight, for visual purposes, if you're wondering where you can watch the ARCA and the Craftsman Truck Series race, Fox Sports 1 is where you can watch that. Still about 60 seconds away from the coverage coming on FS1. And Oscar Mayer Wienermobile race, I guess, at the Indianapolis 500 earlier. showing how that went on. There's quite a few people in the stands for that, too. It's crazy. I don't know if that's a tradition at Indianapolis or not. I've never heard of it, so I'd like to think it's probably not. I actually passed an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile on the way to Texas a couple weeks ago. I forgot to mention that. It's a perfect segue. I didn't know they had more than one. As I'm seeing on the clip here, it looks like they've got like 6 of them, at least. That's all that showed up to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for today, at least. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Monaco Grand Prix Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Yep, that is definitely going to be another spot out of the motorsport weekend. Really, that's the only race we're not doing live commentary for. Usually don't for Formula One. We stick to the NASCAR side of things here on the channel. Full throttle, welcome back in. I'm not sure what the like goal should be for this stream in particular. The ARCA streams for when Cletus is running seem to do a little bit better, so we'll go for 100 likes on the stream here today. Usually we'd end up in the 50 for the goal tier, so I'll go 100. I'll push it for right now. And again, first of two streams, Craftsman Truck Series coverage later on tonight as well. Fox Sports 1's now starting their ARCA coverage, and appreciate again all of you tuning into the stream here in the early minutes. We'll go through the starting lineup for tonight's race before we get the pre-race introduction underway. Will Kimmel again on the pole for Kimmel Racing, and the Ford William Sawalch for Joe Gibbs Racing will be on the outside of road number 1 as well. And road number 2 will be Brendan Queen, the two-time race winner this season, alongside Austin Green. Isabella Robusto and Grant Enfinger line up in road 3. Of course, we're used to seeing Enfinger in the truck series on a full-time basis. Patrick Staropoulos, who's had some good runs at ARCA and in truck so far this season, will be on the inside of road 4, and ARCA regular Andy Jankowiak to his outside. LeVar Scott and Talladega winner Lawless Allen will line up in road 10. Road number 5, rounding out the top 10. And row number 6 will be Cletus McFarland and Cole Raz. Row number 7 will be Lady Busey, and Thad Moffitt. Andrew Patterson, Spencer Gallagher lining up in row 8. Tony Castino and Tim Richmond in row 9. And rounding out the top 20 in row number 10 will be Jeff Schofield and Brian Doze. Number 12, row 13 for Mike Basham and Alex Clubb. Brad Smith and Ryan Huff in row 14. Behind them in row 15 will be Casey Carden and Michael Maples. And 32 cars in our field today. Nate Moeller and Jason Kitts-Miller bring up the rear of the field in row 16. Pretty big field for an ARCA race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, a 1.5-mile racetrack. We're definitely going to be seeing lap traffic come into play in this one. Two-man booth, it looks like, for Fox Sports 1 on the play-by-play side of things. I'll be doing most of the live commentary coverage for these NASCAR races here on the channel. Tim Jones, Mark Simpson, welcome into the stream also. Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in. Enjoyed the stream the last time Cleat raced all the way from the UK. Let's go. Greetings from Wales. Thank you for tuning back in. Glad you remembered me over the last month or so. Almost exactly a month from the ARCA Daytona event and the Talladega race weekend for NASCAR. Again, big weekend. We had a big weekend for All-Star Racing last week, but obviously major motorsports action with the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday, as well as the Coca-Cola 600 with the doubleheader. All 1,100 miles of coverage right here on the channel, as well as the Craftsman Truck ARCA races today. Xfinity Series race tomorrow afternoon. We'll have Cup practice and qualifying earlier in the afternoon as well. So 6 live commentary streams across the next 3 days. Busy. Stevie J, welcome to the stream. Welcome from Tennessee. Point standings as they run have Brendan Queen leading the way by just 1 point over Lawless Allen. Each of those two have at least one win this season. LeVar Scott's third in points. Andy Jankowiak fourth. Here is the points leader, Brendan Queen, with Amanda Busick.
And with 2 wins. And Brendan, you've been so honest about your growth and support that you've received here this season. How far are you exceeding your expectations?
I just, I think when we all believe in each other, like the sky is the limit. And when you surround yourself with good people like I have the past couple of years and then coming into the ARCA series, that's what it takes to win these races. And everybody, Pinnacle Racing Group, got a new sponsor on board, Folsom Fence Supply. Not new to me, but new primary sponsor this week. It looked good climbing the fence in this new suit and heading to the Waffle House tonight.
Guys, as we looked it up, we were talking about it in our production meeting here, and that's the one he...
All right, enough about Waffle House. Train Daily, welcome to the stream. Sup from Illinois. Appreciate that, man. Chelsea, Michigan, about 20 minutes away from MIS. That's pretty cool. I'm from Northwest Ohio. My home track is Michigan as well. A little bit more than an hour drive for me, but I will be there in a couple weeks. Drivers are already locked up in their cars, and they should be getting the command to fire engines shortly. If there are any more pre-recorded interviews from before the start of today's race at any point in time before the drop of the green flag, or interviews throughout the course of the race, if we have some early retirees, you'll get to listen to that as well. Just a quick 100 lapper around this 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Still waiting for our leaderboard to pop up on the raw feed side of things. That's a command right there. A little bit of gusto on that command. That makes me extra pumped for the racing we'll see today. It's hard to believe that both races combined that we're going to see today between the Truck and ARCA series equate to 350 miles, which is barely over half of what we'll see for the Cup Series in their longest race of the season on Sunday with the Coca-Cola 600. Definitely be sure to hit the like button on the stream. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe for more live NASCAR commentary streams, all NASCAR race weekend and other NASCAR race weekends to come. Any point in time here, we'll be getting the live leaderboard and the lap-by-lap statistical analysis that we'll have throughout the course of the race today. I'm going to try to go into ARCA.com on a different page and see if it is all. I've gone through the starting lineup already. If you're just tuning in and is already wondering on that. 24,000 watching Cletus's cam. Yeah, I saw NASCAR's YouTube channel's got the onboard cam for Cletus again today. They had it for Talladega. I'm assuming they had it for Daytona as well. I don't know that they usually have live cams for ARCA. I'm well aware how many extra people are watching the sport on that specific day than what they would have had otherwise. Yeah, this should be a fun one. I really don't know what to expect in this race. 32 cars is quite a big field for an ARCA race on an intermediate track. More than half of those are not going to be very competitive, which will lead for lap traffic. This is the second 1.5 mile track on the ARCA schedule, and it's actually the second in a row. Their last race at Kansas Speedway last month in early May, Mother's Day weekend, would have been the most recent. I said last month. Earlier this month, Mother's Day weekend would have been the most recent race. So just 2 weeks ago. Again, Brennan Queen, the winner of that race, first repeat winner of the season for ARCA. Still working on trying to get that raw feed up for you guys. Race info. Nothing there. Cars are on the racetrack. Clicked on the Reese's ad. That ain't gonna do anything. I would imagine it'll become available at some point. It crashed out on us at Talladega with about, what, a dozen laps left, maybe? Jamie Casa, welcome to the stream. Just bought a new house. There you go. Is that why the last name on your channel is Casa? Spanish for home? Fox Sports 1. If you do have cable or any sort of streaming platforms that carry the race or carry that channel, specifically, you get Fox Sports 1. ARCA and the Craftsman truck race will be there. It might be dialing up Cletus from the booth here.
Try to get a hold of him.
Yep.
Hey, Cletus, Bill Parsons, Brent Stover in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
First of all, brother, great job at Talladega fighting for that top 10 finish. But here you are at Charlotte. This is nothing like Daytona and Talladega, the experience you have, is it?
Yeah, I'd say I think it's about 99.8 my driving ability here at Charlotte. It's about 26.2 times harder than the Speedway. I was fighting for my life qualifying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, brother.
Man, you were solid in practice and a great qualifying effort. But the thing I'm a little bit worried about, your co-owner and crew chief, Mark Rett, had to leave for his son's high school graduation.
Oh,
you got a guy in the box that maybe doesn't have a lot of experience. Maybe some of the people, some of our viewers have heard of him, Greg Zipadelli. What do you think of that?
Oh, there we go. I had no idea.
Yeah, we got Zip box, super cool. I'm pretty like I'm playing Greg.
All right, buddy. Thanks for talking to us. Have a great race.
Legendary crew chief, 34 career cup wins on top of the box for Tony Stewart, including 2 championships on top of the box for.
Just looking at the practice results from earlier today as well, that took place in the afternoon. Will Kimmel was fastest in practice on top of qualifying on the pole. So interested to see what we could do, or what he could do from the very front of the field here tonight. He's got some fast cars lining up right behind him. Not be shocked if we see a winner in the first few rows. Brendan Queen, 2 times this year already. William Sawalich hasn't broken through yet this season, but has won multiple times in his ARCA career. Grant Enfinger, former ARCA champion and Truck Series regular, again in that row number 3. Wallace Allen won at Talladega several weeks ago, starts in the top 10. Cletus McFarland, just outside the top 10, row 6, mile-and-a-half track debut for him. Late addition to running at the Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend for him. Wasn't originally on his schedule for 2025, but is, and he's getting more experience, and on a non-super speedway oval, that's huge. Teams are checking pit road time, so they'll be getting the 1-to-go signal this time by. Hopefully the names of the drivers line up on screen, but at least you see the numbers there now. Driver numbers. Car numbers. As usual for ARCA, there will be a halfway caution at lap 50. And that will be the main point of emphasis for these teams to change tires, add some fuel to the race cars. Much like Kansas Speedway in the last ARCA race, this is a track that wields a decent amount of tire wear over the course of a longer green flag run. So we're definitely going to see some drop-offs in lap time from the early going of the run to the long going of a green flag run, depending on how many green flag laps we see. Got his visor up, just for right now. They're under caution. Although Carson Hocevar's been racing with his visor up on several tracks this season. I've never seen anybody do that before. They've caught it on his in-car camera several times. Maybe not the safest thing to do. I would advise that not to be the case. Lights are out on the pace car, excuse me. 60 to 65 laps is the fuel window, so again, they could go past that 50-lap marker. Defending winner of the race, Tanner Gray, who is full-time in the Craftsman Truck Series. He is not in the field today. Got the win for Venturini Motorsports, I believe, last season. Our lap leaderboard will update when the race leader gets to the start-finish line to begin the next lap, whether that be under green or under caution. Field pacing their way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Pace car will be headed to pit road, and we will get this 150-mile General Tire 150 underway. First stream of the weekend. I'll get the cobwebs out here eventually. Whoa. All right. Will Kimmel into the restart zone. Will launch first right in the middle of it. Gets a push from behind by Butterbean Queen, and we're underway at Charlotte in the General Tire 150. Queen solidly into second place as they roll through turns 1 and 2. 3 wide, right around the 5th place position on corner entry. Enfinger just getting out of there. Saved. Isabella Robusto around the outside was able to slip by into 4th. Wallace Allen in the 20 was the driver who was going backwards there for a minute. Kimmel's got a massive lead over a side-by-side battle for second going on off of turn 4 between Sawalich and Queen. Difference was about a second and a half as they crossed the start-finish line that last time by. Kimmel's putting down some heaters early on. A lot of side drafting going on in the battle for second between Queen and Sawalich. They've been nose-to-nose, bumper-to-bumper with each other since they exited turn 4 the last lap. Sawalich clear of Queen, who looks to be very loose with his race car as they exit the 4th turn. Big gaggle of cars, about 5 of them under a giant blanket in the battle for 4th around Grant Enfinger. Enfinger, Green, Robusto, Allen, Jankowiak, all in that group. LeVar Scott, Cletus McFarland, not far behind in 9th and 10th. Slow car in the back straightaway. Trying to limp their way to pit road. We continue to stay green for the moment. One driver did not make the start of this race who was on the entry list, and that would be Jason Kitzmiller. It was an ARCA regular. Pretty good equipment there. Unfortunate weekend for him so far to not be able to make the green flag. And I'm not sure if that was a wreck from practice or not earlier. I did not catch practice and qualifying live. Anybody in the chat has any updates on that? Feel free to let me know. Daniel Overcash, welcome to the stream. Thoughts on Cletus as a driver? I mean, he's done a good job on the super speedways. I'm curious to see what he does on a 1.5 miles today. I think this is really going to test his driving skill, at least in a stock car when it comes to bigger ovals. Really got to manage the throttle, braking on a tighter 1.5 mile track like this at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it's not necessarily just a 100% gas, hold it down and see where you end up kind of race. Obviously, there's some managing with the draft you have to do at a Daytona and Talladega. It definitely takes talent, but maybe this is more driver skill inclined at a track like Charlotte. So Sawalich, after getting to second place, has closed his lead down to about 0.8 of a second over Will Kimmel. Kimmel led the opening 5 and now 6 laps of this race from the pole. His lead was about 1.5 seconds until that battle for second became single file between Sawalich and Queen, and both of them have been running faster laps than our leader. The pacing as well might have been a little too quick out of the gate for Kimmel. Could be burning the tires off of his car much quicker than those behind him. Austin Green was able to slide in 5th. Grant Enfinger up to 4th place, has moved up a couple of spots. Sawalich now just under 0.5 seconds off our leader Kimmel at the start-finish line that last time by. Some cars already going a lap down. Might have actually just been the driver who hit pit road after being a little bit slow in the back straightaway several laps ago. Nate Moeller in the number 9 car. Cole Raz also off the lead lap. As well as Casey Carden, Mike Basham, Brad Smith, Alex Clubb, Rook Goodale, leaving 24 of the 32 on the lead lap. We're only on lap number 8, so definitely early to be getting into lap traffic. Isabella Robusto's dropped back to the 10th place position after qualifying fifth. She's about 9.5 seconds off of the lead. So Wallich closes even more on Kim. Going to get underneath him off of turn 4, but he's all over the back bumper and looking to charge into 1 and 2. And his wayward passing Brendan Queen for second. He was really able to drive in deep, get it to stick through the center, and still get back to the gas as quickly as he has. Rolls the bottom of the racetrack very well on both ends. Kimmel with a slight run off of that middle groove line was able to get the straightaway speed down the back to remain in front of Sawalich for the time being. Kimmel gets very sideways in the middle of 3 and 4. Sawalich actually extends it down the front stretch as the top 2 nearly involved in an early incident. Kimmel's definitely not going to be able to hold on to the lead for very long if his rear tires are sliding around on him as much as they are right now. Last lap as a result of that slide off turn 4 is a half a second slower than the 3rd and 4th place cars further back. 10 laps complete out of 100. Caution free in the early going as well. Swalch being patient in that 2nd place position, not wanting to risk wrecking himself in a sense, trying to make a pass on a driver who was wrecking loose with his race car. Will Kimmel giving him extra room. Kimmel with a block being aggressive on his own right to the bottom of the track after entering a little wider through 3 and 4. And a lot more lap traffic will be coming up for these top 2, which is going to be interesting to see how they navigate through it. And that could be where we see a pass for the lead be had. So Wallich having to run that middle to upper groove. Many slow cars to the bottom of the racetrack. Kimmel nearly 3 wide around the outside on a couple of very slow cars. They almost look like they're not even at minimum speed. I don't know what the minimum speed is in ARCA, but those top 2 were blowing around cars that were running right around 20th. 19 cars currently remain on the lead lap. Ryan Huff just went a lap down, so now we're down to 18 on the lead lap just after about a dozen of them. As they cut to commercial break, it looks like Sawalich has just taken the race lead away from Will Kimmel. Grant Enfinger is up to 3rd, Austin Green 4th, Andy Jankowiak rounds out the top 5. LeVar Scott 6th, Hollis Allen 7th, Cletus McFarland 8th, Isabella Robusto 9th, and Thad Moffitt rounds out our top 10. And the gap between 1st and 10th is now about 15 seconds already. Race leader that last lap of Sawalich ran a 32.368. Kimmel slid back to the 6th place position already. We stayed green. I wonder if he had to make an unscheduled pit stop, because he went from leading the race and now he's outside the top 10, 14th, and still falling backwards. So major problems under the commercial break for Will Kimmel. I'm sure we'll get an update when they come back from the commercial break on the live feed for Fox Sports 1. Bill Hall, Dylan Anselek, welcome to the stream. I misread it. Randall James, welcome to the stream as well. Mike is clipping out. Thank you for that. I'll adjust it. It should be a little bit better now. Sorry for any audio issues. A little over 100 people in the chat right now. We got 37 likes on our goal of 100 tonight. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more live NASCAR commentary streams just like this. 6 of them coming your way, 2 a day for the next 3 days. Craftsman Truck Series racing tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll go live for Cup Series practice and qualifying, followed by the Xfinity Series race at 4:30, and then at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, the Indianapolis 500 Sunday afternoon, followed by the Coke 600 later that evening at 5:30. We'll go live with our race coverage about a half hour to 45 minutes before the drop of the green flag, per usual for our Cup Series races every weekend. Sounds better. Yeah, sorry for that. I didn't realize that the mic was peaking out. Thank you for updating me. Take our first break of the stream while we're still waiting on FS1 to come back from their commercial. You're listening live on KRC to the ARCA Menards General Tire 150. Willy Wonka, welcome to the stream. Only watch NASCAR on Prime and not regular cable. Yes, for the Cup Series at least. Xfinity will still be on CW all year. Fox Sports 1 still carrying all the trucks all season long. On Prime for the next 5 weeks. And then they'll head to TNT after that for another 5 weeks, and then finish out on NBC and USA Network for the remainder of the year. Oh, Queen got against the wall.
Was already going down. He makes some pretty significant contact with the safer barrier. Obviously, cars go by. There's the green going by. Tough break for him. Now he finds himself.
And then right after that, our pole sitter and the man who led the first 12 laps, the 69 of Will Kimmel, some kind of issue, and he pulls down pit road.
I've got to believe that's probably an engine issue of somewhat. We see a lot of the Ilmore engines with electrical problems, but this is a legacy engine. This is an OEM Ford engine that Will was running. You see him take the hard left-hand turn into the garage here. What a tough break for Will Kimmel.
Led the first 12 laps. He's in the garage. The 28 now is going to be way to the back of the field. And that man, William Sawalich, who I think we both felt was the most dominant car in practice today, and he's got the lead by 1.3 seconds.
And Butterbean now finds himself 2 laps down, which is going to be very, very tough to overcome. Might have to employ a little strategy to try to do that. Right now, William Sawalich has a little bit over a 1 second lead over that 97 of Grant Finger. Austin Green right now running in the 3rd spot.
Sawalich in the Joe Gets Racing Toyota, 9 wins last year, 2nd at Daytona, 9th at Talladega, and 2nd at Kansas 2 weeks ago. A couple of top 10s in the Xfinity Series, running a full schedule for the first time in his career in the Xfinity Series. Meantime, Enfinger making moves early on in this race. As the 97 driven by Enfinger started 6th, then he's up into 2nd behind Sawalich. Sawalich led 61% of all laps in his last 18 starts, 10 wins during that time.
Well, we talked about Grant Enfinger making his 100th career start, looking for win number 17. Well, William Sawalich has made 30 starts, and he already has 13 wins in his career. He won 9 of 14 starts last year in the ARCA Menards Series. He wasn't old enough to run all the racetracks. He didn't turn 18 until after our season ended.
It's incredible. And he hasn't, had it translate perhaps the way some would expect the Xfinity Series so far. He's taken his lumps there. Now, Butterbean again with a right front that went down, hit the wall. He's a couple of laps down, was back out there running 21st after starting 3rd for Brendan Queen. And Amanda has one.
You're right, Brent. Yeah, our Kansas race will have to make up some ground here. They did come down to pit road, took 4 tires. It was that right front that went down. As you said, he was telling on the radio that I cannot turn this race car. After he reclaimed the path with those 4, see what Butterbean can do here.
If any Cars Tour champ has been sensational so far this season, we'll see what he can do running for 21st.
I've been watching the lap times. He's running some fairly fast lap times. Obviously, a little bit fresher tires than his competitors, but there's nothing wrong with that race car. He still has some speed. Just has to somehow figure out how to get to at least 1 lap down. Then he would be eligible for weight rounds.
We talked about the fuel window. Obviously, maybe 60, 65 laps right there. Is that fair? Or
yeah, I think so. And he may elect to get that when we get that schedule cost for lap 50 to stay on the racetrack and gamble a little bit to take the wave around, because we know if we don't get a caution before that the entire field will come down pit road on lap number 50.
All right, let's find out what happened to Will Kimmel. Amanda's with him.
Yeah, and he was taking a long, hard look at this race car, shaking his head and saying, man, this is part of it. And Will, we talked prior to the race, and you said that you race impactful, that this is you and your dad's business. I have to tell you, for those first 12 laps, your family was on their feet watching you. When did you know something was wrong?
We come off two, and I think it broke a valve spring is what happened here, because it kind of fumbled a little bit, and I stayed in it, and then went down on 7 pretty hard. So and then it got to where it won't run. We just tried to spin it over, and it's hurt pretty good. I think everything stayed inside, so just heartbreak. The 18 had run us back down. We were getting free, and we were kind of ready for that. This place acts like a big Salem, so man, he's gonna be tough to beat, but we were close today, and we got to think Landon Custom Home, Jailbreaker Potato Chips, Excel Hydraulics, Jack's Wax, E3, DEI, Grimm's Vinyl, Stick 'em Up, Clarksville Schwinn, everybody that is behind me, Avco Racing. Just I don't know. It's hard to be upset. We went out leading when we blew up running first at Charlotte, so I can't be too upset. But you got to kind of think what could have been here. So I'll be home soon. William, Waylon, Ella. I'll see y'all in a little bit. I'm sure they're yelling at the TV if Waylon hasn't broke it yet. So we'll head home here in a little bit.
Phil, how do you describe that emotion?
It's there's so many highs and lows in this sport. Obviously, such a high getting that pole here at Charlotte, and now such a low. But he has nothing to hang his head on. He can hold his head high. He showed these guys that they were there. They can be competitive when they have a chance.
Breathtaking though in the end after he led the first 12 laps before breaking a valve. Out front by nearly 3 seconds.
30 laps in out of 100. William Sawalch with a just over 2-second lead over Grant Enfinger right now. Enfinger slowly closing in on him the longer the green flag run goes. At last lap, Grant was actually about 6/10 quicker than Sawalch. Austin Green scored in third. Andy Jankowiak in fourth. And LeVar Scott rounds out the top 5. And it does look like we're under caution for the first time today. Sure enough, immediately after they go to commercial break, it looks like we're under 12th place position is going to get the free pass for being the first car 1 lap down at the time of the yellow. As already 20 cars that started the race fell off of the lead lap in those first 30. We will have a halfway caution at lap 50, so this is not going to be at least the last yellow today. And the first chance for a lot of these teams to make adjustments for those that have remained on the lead lap and in contention still, to come down onto pit road and make some tuning to their cars, try to get more acclimated with the current racetrack conditions. Mystic Shadows, welcome to the stream. Going to be live for the next 5 races. Refuse to pay for Amazon. I will, except for Michigan, because I'll be at Michigan for the Cup race. But I will be live for the Cup races, yeah, obviously. Every weekend other than when I'm at the racetrack. Coke 600 coverage this Sunday, of course. Sid for Brains, I don't know if I give you a shout out yet, but welcome to the stream. David Parker, welcome as well. Our goal of 100 likes, we're up to 49 right now. Still in the first half of the race, almost halfway to the like goal, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Still waiting to see exactly what the caution was out for. Our first yellow of the day at lap 30. So Walsh was still the leader by just over 2 seconds at the time of the yellow. Against Staropoli and 12th, we'll get the free pass. And I believe Brennan Queen, who was in third and got into the wall a little earlier in the run, got up to 18th, 1 lap down. So he did make one of his 2 laps up. Now we'll have to race to try to get into the free pass before the halfway caution. So this yellow does bail him out a little bit. Not a lot of damage on Queen's car following the contact with the wall in turns 3 and 4 about a dozen laps in. John Jackson, welcome to the stream. Are some of these cars making minimum speed? I don't know. It doesn't look like it, does it? When I was at Bristol Motor Speedway, I saw an ARCA race there a few years ago. And all the slow cars on that tight of a racetrack, it actually made for a pretty entertaining race. You just thought the leaders were going to absolutely run them over on several occasions when there was nowhere to go and they were side by side and they'd have to jam on it. A lot of moving chicanes, as they would say.
Sorry. America's home for racing, kicking off Memorial Day weekend. Has finished the longest green flag stretch to start a race at Charlotte since ARCA returned in 2018, but under caution because of debris here at the moment. A lot has happened already
Sure
in the
has.
first quarter of this race.
This is going to be an interesting time for these crew chiefs. You know, we're going to pit on lap 33 here if they come down pit road. Probably these guys could make it to the end of the race. We'll see what's
They're going to want tires, though.
You see what Swalch is coming down pit
Oh,
road.
I think
Grant
they're
Enfinger
staying
says,
out.
if you're coming down pit road, I'm not coming down pit road. We're going to do the opposite, but he's going to bring some of the cars on the lead lap with him.
All the cars that come down pit road, they will leave pit road in the same position, but the cars that stay out get to move ahead, obviously, of these. Let's go down to pit road with Amanda.
Hey guys, yeah, I was talking to a couple of the teams ahead of this, and they were saying that it's possible that teams here can stay out to the end if they take fuel here, but it will be really tight. You can see the 82 taking tires there. Said that it was tight in 3 and 4. It needs more front turn, and then on to the 6th of Lamar Scott. As we know, guys, he wants to get away from that question. Loose race car, Alex.
Yeah, pitting from the lead, the 18 machine there of Sawallich. He says that he's starting to get a little loose on the bottom. He thinks he got a little bit into the resin that they put down on the racetrack. The moving up is helping him, but the bottom is still the best. He's asking for, obviously, those fresh tires. They're telling him just to be patient in that lap traffic and take care of his error.
So 4 fresh tires for the 18, who gives up the lead here as he comes down.
Remember now, these ARCA teams can put fuel and tires, these cars, but they have to do it separately. They have to wait till one is done and then do the other. Some teams will change the tires first and then fuel. And obviously we saw with Sawallich, he made sure they got it full of fuel first and then they put the tires on.
So packed full of fuel, 4 new tires for the 18. Enfinger takes over the lead, and again, a scheduled race break at or around lap number 50, the halfway mark. It's the General Tire 150 from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
All right, so it looked like the top 3 stayed out of the pits, if I'm not mistaken. Grant Enfinger, Cletus McFarland, Isabella Robusto all stayed out of the pits. Might have had a few others stay out as well. Austin Green, LeVar Scott, Lawless Allen, and Laney Busey. Top 7, and then Sawallich, who was in the lead, would have been first off of pit road in 8th. So the top 7 will be on old tires, ahead of those on fresh tires in positions 8 through 12. And that is all that will remain on the lead lap when we get to the next restart. Cop Yellow again will come at lap 50 when all the lead lap cars get to the start-finish line at that lap if we don't have a caution before then, as we will get a restart in with just about a dozen or more laps to go. Yeah, so Mystic Shadows, welcome to the stream. If I didn't shout you out there, Northwest Arizona, Barry O'Neill, Rima, XA Trickle, welcome to the stream. Listening to the live feed, watching the second screen with Cletus live. There you go. Know what's going on with Cletus at all times, and you know what's going on elsewhere. Appreciate it. 234 in the chat, and we're up to 69 likes. There we go. Thank you, everybody. On the road to 7,000 subs on the channel. Michael Bardwell, excuse me. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry if I'm fumbling your guys' names in the chat. I don't know why I'm doing that tonight. I'm off my A game. I'm on my A- to B+ game tonight, it seems like. Pouring rain in Vermont. It's sunny where I live in Northwest Ohio, but it's relatively cool. I think it only was a high of 59 degrees today. Good old Ohio. That's what happens when you live on the lake. Be 80 degrees one day and it'll be 55 the next. Just depends on which way the wind's blowing. Sharky's Garage and RC and more, welcome to the stream. Mike Hawk, welcome. So again, Enfinger and Cletus will be out in front of the front row for this next restart because they stayed out of the pits. So they do have less fuel in their cars than everybody else. And I'm assuming the strategy is here that they're going to obviously pit at the halfway caution so they can top off on fuel, make it to the end. But then they'll have fresh tires, and those that either A, decide to stay out, or B, if they can hang on to their track position before we get to the halfway caution, they can come into the pits, take 4 fresh tires, and they're on equal strategy and still ahead. So that is the game plan to be had for these top 5. It looked like the top 7 stayed out. A couple more came in after everybody else came down when pit road first opened. So Sawalich was first out of the pits and in the first place spot at the time of the last yellow, and only yellow of the race so far is in 6th. So Grant Enfinger, Cletus McFarland, Isabella Robusto, LeVar Scott, Lawless Allen, top 5, all on old Hoosier tires.
Brand new race car for this team, so it's a good opportunity to.
Anthony Dorter,
shake it
Bruno,
down.
welcome in.
A guy like Grant Enfinger.
And Alex has more on him.
Yeah, Brent, you guys are mentioning our new leader, the 97 of Grant Enfinger. And
Trippy Dale Jr., welcome to the stream.
He knows what he wants inside of a race car, and the team and Frank Kimmel were calling him down to pit road. He said, no, I think I need to stay out. I'd rather not come now. If I can make it to lap 50, I'm going to need tires late in this race.
Yeah, these teams will have 8 tires on pit road. Obviously, we saw William Sawalich, among others, put 4 tires on. Now, that means he has 1 more set of tires in the pits. Now, Grant Enfinger will come in at the mid-race caution flag and put tires on then. His tires will be a little bit fresher than William Sawalich's will be. I'm assuming William Sawalich will stay on the racetrack. If he doesn't stay on the racetrack, then it would not behoove him to put his last set of tires on that early at lap 50.
Top 3 stayed out. Enfinger in the 97, Cletus McFarland in the 30, and Isabella Robusto in the 55 for Venturini.
How about Cletus? You know he's got to be excited to be running up there in the second spot. He will restart this race on the front row with Grant Enfinger. Grant will decide whether he wants the inside or the outside for this restart, and Cletus will get the other row. But it's got to be pretty cool for Cletus.
Started 11th, currently 2nd. Top 10 a month ago in Talladega. He had engine issues that he battled through and really showed a lot.
Yeah, he lost a cylinder, and then his spotter helped him have a pusher behind him, stay tucked up in the draft. And, he's no slouch, too. He was running 7th before that caution flag came out, so he has really been doing a nice job tonight.
First time for him on a 1.5 miles. He ran at Daytona as well as Talladega, got wrecked out at Daytona, ended up joining you guys up in the booth. Obviously, that was entertaining. And then at Talladega, it was entertaining to watch him battle back from the cylinder that you talked about.
And this is going to be, he's going to have some really fast cars behind him. Obviously, Sawalich with 4 fresh tires, who's been the class of the field once we had lost Will Kimmel. He's going to be right behind Cletus. See Isabella, that Mobile 1, number 55 on the inside. Row number 2, she's another one of the drivers, as you mentioned, stayed out. The top 3 stayed on the racetrack.
So
some others that I might not have been able to get to before this next restart that also have tuned in as well. Greetings from everywhere around the world, really. That's what's been kind of awesome to see with these races Cletus McFarland has been involved in, seeing how many of you guys support him and supporting the channel, for instance, here tonight from all over the globe. Green flag is back in the air. McFarland spins his tires on the restart, causes a stack up, and is led by both Butterbean Queen and the outside retaining wall. And that's where the lack of experience might settle in there for Cletus, trying to fire off on old tires from the front row. It would have been his first front row restart in his ARCA career, caused a stack up behind him on the outside lane. Robusto tried to squeeze up the middle 3 wide as McFarland's car was fishtailing. Sawalich involved, also a lot of heavy hitters taken out.
Damage on our fastest car of the night, the 18, the Starkey car for William Sawalich.
damage on the left front. You see a piece there waving in the wind.
The nose, too. A lot of damage on the nose. I'm sure Matt Ross will probably bring Sawalich back down pit road.
Yeah, there's big
See, there's a hole. There's
hole
a
in
hole
the
in that
nose.
front valence.
The 18.
Right underneath the headlight, right there on the left side.
He tried to get fire off on the old tires on the restart. Obviously, never really did that from the front row before. Grant Enfinger, who was the control car on the bottom, took off fine. Obviously, Truck Series regular. And the rookie McFarland slides the rear tires enough. Cars are trying to get going behind him. Nowhere to go. Robusto gets teed up in the right rear as McFarland's car came back down the racetrack. And again, a couple of heavy hitters involved in the incident. Spencer Gallagher taken out as well. Obviously, Robusto is going to be done for the day. William Sawalich, some nose damage after hitting Robusto, who came across the racetrack. Lawless Allen went for a spin in the grass, but it doesn't look like he has a lot of damage. And several others.
Furs, I think Cletus would have straightened it out.
Lawless Allen got caught up in that as well. He, of course, won it.
I mean, you would have straightened it out eventually. The problem is you just got the whole field right behind you with nowhere to go. Other guys are trying to get going that can't see him spinning.
That's Lawless Allen's on board, the Journal Tire on board.
We've seen incidences like this in the past.
31 car there, Air Goodale. Rick Goodale, excuse me.
Tim Richmond caught up in it as well. A lot of good cars.
Not a lot
They
of
got
damage on
here,
Cletus's car.
including the 30, and unfortunately, restart. His machine Cletus flag on board in that 30 car. You see the disappointment.
Yeah, I think Sippy probably needs to bring Cletus down pit road, maybe do some repairs on that left front as well. Or they may figure they can ride it out till the lap 50. We'll have another scheduled caution more than likely at lap 50.
See, Robusto is out of her car following a disappointment. She wrecked late, finished 13th at Kansas 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the damage on Spencer Gallagher's car.
Jeff Schofield, William Sawalich, Lawless Allen, Spencer Gallagher, Tim Richmond, Cletus McFarland, Rook Goodale, Isabella Robusto, and Brian Dozit were all the drivers involved in the lap 39 caution, 9 total.
Get out of the car moments ago.
We saw all the damage to some of these cars, and they're not even out of second gear yet. And that's how much damage you can get at this racetrack.
A lot of twists and turns in the first 40 laps here tonight. And Charlotte kicking off this fantastic weekend of racing at the home of NASCAR here in Charlotte, North Carolina. A 30 car causing a big time pilot.
Yeah, he was definitely visibly frustrated with himself on the in-car camera following the incident. Nobody wants to trigger something like that. Quite a few good cars involved. I'm interested to see if Sawalich is going to be able to bounce back with the damage to his race car. Hole in the nose of it definitely going to hurt him aerodynamically. As far as the fender damage, doesn't seem like anything was necessarily caved in. Just a strip taken out around the left front fender, rushing across Robusto's car, who ended up getting turned head-on into the wall to the outside, right in front of him. Tar Heel and Patch, Cody 450SX, welcome to the stream. Shane Richards, welcome. And many others. Caution's out for the second time today. Interested to see if we end up getting another restart before our halfway caution, which will be scheduled for lap 50. I believe the raw feed ended up timing out on us on ARCA.com, so I'm going to have to try to go back into there as well. It bugged out on us at Talladega in the final 20 laps. It looks like it might have bugged out on us a little early here tonight at Charlotte. First of 2 live commentary streams on the day. Again, Craftsman Truck Series racing will be later tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for a 200-mile, 134-lap race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway following tonight's ARCA event. Yeah, I've got nothing. We lost the raw feed on ARCA's website. That caution might have triggered a spike or a lag out on ARCA.com. Well, it's early enough in the race. Hopefully it gets back up and running again at some point sometime soon. William Holcomb, welcome to the stream. Randall James. Raw feet under caution as well. Yes, it is. Cletus is still in the race. I know many of you are probably wondering. Not a lot of damage around his race car. It kind of sucks when you have somebody that triggers the incident involved. I mean, he's got a little bit of damage around the left front, but they're able to continue, and you got, fast cars that were also around him now not in the race. That's just a part of racing. We see it on restarts a lot across every series.
The General Tire 150. A lot of drama so far. Cletus McFarland on pit road spun the tires on the restart moments ago. Let's go back and just listen and see what happened on that last restart attempt with the 30.
Spin the tires. When that happened, Sawallich may have gotten back on because he did not have any forward momentum. So just one of those situations. Obviously Cletus never started one of these races up front on the front row like he was. And these things have over 600 horsepower. It's hard to get these things hooked up.
Let's get more from Amanda.
Yeah, guys, I was talking to Cletus ahead of this race, and he said, this is exactly where I want to be right now. I want to be in this ARCA Menards series and continue to learn. You see him hit the wheel there. Prior to that restart, as you guys took a look at, his team reminded him, make sure to warm up the tires and get that rubber off before the restart. I don't know if that's exactly what happened there, but as you see him taking in probably the frustration of that moment, he said, man, I blew it there. What a rookie move.
Well, now he's got to put it behind him and bounce back here.
Yeah, he's still on the lead lap. We're only showing 11 cars on the lead lap right now. That took a number of our lead lap cars out of contention, unfortunately.
So he's the final car. He's starting on the lead lap. Sawallich has got damage in the front. He's led 20 laps.
That's the repairs.
He's in 10th. Of course, he has led 20. Kimmel led the first 12, and then he blew an engine, and then Enfinger led 11 as well.
I think Matt Ross's guys did a nice job of making the repairs on this 18 car. It may be more aerodynamic now than it was before.
Let's check in with Alex.
You guys are looking at that heavy front damage there on the 18 of William Sawallich. He obviously came across the radio a little frustrated. They told him to bring it to him, and they're going to make sure that they fix that damage. They put a ton of tape on the front of that car, as you guys see them working on it right now on pit road. But after the incident on the restart, Sawallich came across the radio very frustrated and said, went exactly how I thought it would.
Were you surprised when he came down in the first place and gave up the lead on that first caution?
A little bit, but I know Matt Ross knows he has a good race car and felt like possibly he could get there from the end. Now, obviously, that's going to change the strategy. I think if his car drives okay, we'll have a handful of laps before that scheduled caution that he will stay on the racetrack.
There we go.
No, the Grant Enfinger.
Early board's back.
And he will come down pit road. So Grant Enfinger will lose that lead. If anybody stays on the racetrack that's on the lead lap, and I'm assuming that Sawallich will, as long as his car drives okay.
Well, for the moment, it's the 97 in front, and that is the 40-year-old Grant Enfinger. About just 2 days, it's the biggest day in motorsports. It's the greatest spectacle in racing. The 109th Indy 500 comes to Fox with Joseph Newgarden going for an historic three-peat. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Sunday on Fox. And if he's going to do it, he will have to come from the back of the field.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to win 3 in a row.
Sports, that is exactly right. One of my favorite days of the year, all-time favorite days of the year. It's going to be so much fun. A lot of racing on Sunday.
Kyle Larson will start 19th. And of course, you got Schwartzman, Robert Schwartzman, a rookie, first rookie on the pole at the Indy 500 since '83. Great storyline there as well.
First oval he's ever raced. Unbelievable.
First race with that team.
So Enfinger
At Indy, at least.
will be at the point. Austin Green, who we documented the success he's had the last couple of years in the Xfinity Series, running his second ARCA Menards Series race tonight, his first in 5 years. finds himself in second place, and then LeVar Scott still searching for that first win in the number 6 car will restart third.
Brandon Finger, the only car that has not been to pit road, and it's on the lead lap right now. We're going to restart this race with 40. Schedule caution will be somewhere around lap 50. Because we just had a caution, they may extend that a few laps beyond 50, but we'll wait and see here. But we know Grant Enfinger has to come to pit road.
Thad Moffitt will start on the outside of row number 2 in that 46 car. Finished second a month ago at Talladega, 16th 2 weeks ago at Kansas. Of course, the grandson of the King, Richard Petty.
All right, 54 laps to go in the restart for Grant Enfinger, who will be on the outside of row 1 this time as the control car. Green flag is in the air. Lead away from Enfinger as they race for turn 1. Green's got the nose out in front of this 97 car. Surprised Enfinger took the top side of row 1 for the restart that time. He was on the bottom, launched well down there before. He's still door-to-door with Austin Green for the lead as they race for turn 3 and work their way up to speed. Side-by-side battle just in line behind them as well. 2x2 battling for about 4th, LeVar Scott, Andy Jankowiak. Nearly looking 3 wide to the bottom with Thad Moffitt looking to get by both race cars. William Sawalich in 6th with that nose damage. Stuck in traffic behind everybody in front of him. Halfway caution will be maybe extended a little bit past lap 50, but we are still expecting that halfway caution at some point. Our leaderboard's back up, and it is frozen just a bit. Top 5 following this last restart. Austin Green to the lead as he clears Enfinger now for that front spot. A little less than 1/10 of a second ahead of Enfinger. Andy Jankowiak's 3/10 back in 3rd. LeVar Scott is 6/10 back in 4th, and William Sawalich is 9/10 off the lead in 5th. Sawalich now looking for 4th place to the inside of Scott off of turn 2. 18 cars still got some speed to it. Grant Enfinger trying to hold off the 73 of Jankowiak. Remember, Enfinger does have slightly older tires still. Compared to those racing around a big slide off turn 4 for Jankowiak. Might have made a brief moment of contact with Enfinger. Grant's able to hold on to it, just barely kept it off the wall. Jankowiak able to keep from spinning down towards the infield. On the front stretch, it continues to stay side by side for second. Neither one of those two really lost a whole lot of momentum. Enfinger clears him off turn 2 with the run up the high side now. Yeah, our live leaderboard is still frozen, so it came back on for a brief moment. Try to refresh the page again. Apologize for cutting in and out on us. 50 laps down, 50 to go. We're at the cross flags halfway mark. And there is the halfway caution. So they weren't going to wait until just after lap 50. It looks like it'll still be at 50 to go. Third caution of the race now. This one, though, not for incident. And we'll see what the pit strategy will lead for drivers to maybe take tires, pit for fuel. We know Grant Enfinger hasn't pitted for tires yet from second, so expect him to come down onto pit road. Maybe some others who were involved in that most recent incident on that last restart beforehand. Sawalich might come back down for more damage repair. Maybe the same for McFarlane. Lawless Allen was involved and is up in the top 10 still. He may be coming into the pits as well. So we've reached the halfway caution of today's General Tire 150 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Rory, welcome to the stream. John Poles. Powis, excuse me, welcome in. It looked like an L. Maybe I got to get my eyes checked. Maybe that's what it's boiled down to at this point. Timothy Godwin, welcome to the stream. Doug Parsons. Many others who have been here since the start. Appreciate you tuning in. We had over 300 in the chat at one brief moment. We are almost to our like goal, which was 100 likes for today's stream. We're at 99 right now. Still be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. We got well more than that many people watching. Subscribe for live NASCAR commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend, truck, Xfinity, Cup races, Cup practice, qualifying, Cup racing, and much more. This weekend, exclusively Indianapolis 500 coverage also on Sunday. Our first and only IndyCar race coverage of the season. And I believe the third consecutive year of the Indianapolis 500 being commentated live on the channel. And the first year when we were doing only the Cup Series race streams, I was actually at Indy that year. So this will be, it should be the third consecutive Indy 500 stream on the channel. Reed Stevens, welcome to the stream. Glad to hear me covering the race. Well, I'm glad you tuned in to listen to me covering the race. Well, I figured since we don't have any stage breaks with ARCA, we do have a halfway caution, so that'll be time to introduce to you guys the diecast showing for today's race. And because Cletus is in the field for this weekend's ARCA race, I figured why not show a diecast of his mentor, Greg the Biffle, or as he calls him, the Biffmeister. Greg Biffle. This is a 2011 3M Ford Mustang diecast. Actually, it might be 2012. Give me a second on this. 12. I was 1 year off. Car tomorrow with the spoiler. 1 year off. 2012 Ford Fusion. Greg Biffle is actually my favorite driver growing up as a kid, so I have a couple of Greg Biffle diecasts for that reason. 3 of them. I got a Busch Championship car from 2002 and a couple of these 3M Ford Mustangs. Got an American Red Cross one. But showing out this one for today's stream. We'll have our diecast showing during the truck race at the end of stage 2 later tonight, as usual. The Bald R, welcome to the stream. Daniel Watson, Marcus Cofoot, and Cleveland Yodo, welcome to the stream. Fox Sports 1 visually is where you can watch the race, everybody, if you're just tuning in for the first time. We'll have a race recap here in a few moments. Trying to get the raw feed back up and running. If you're wondering why there's a blank screen, there usually would be a leaderboard there. But it's been bugging out on us a couple of times throughout the course of this live commentary stream. Just got to work with what we've got. We got pit stops going on right now.
Mid-race report. There's been a lot of twists and turns and excitement and drama so far in this one.
Certainly has. We've had 4 leaders, 3 lead changes. We've got 11 cars right now. Actually, will be 12 cars on the lead lap once the waiver round is completed. We've had 3 cautions. As we talked about, Grant Enfinger did in fact come down pit road, but our top 5 cars, I think, stayed on the racetrack. So Austin Green and Koyak, Sawalich, LeVar Scott, and Thad Moffitt all have stayed on the racetrack. There's a shot of the 97 of Grant Enfinger.
He comes down first time.
All right, so Enfinger in 6 is going to be the first of those that just took on fresh tires. Top 5 stayed out on the racetrack. Austin Green, Andy Jankowiak, William Sawalich, LeVar Scott, Thad Moffitt were the 5 that stayed out. We'll have 12 cars on the lead lap. Then with the caution coming out, we had 11 just before that. And again, our leaderboard is blank for the moment, so I can't go through the full leaderboard for you guys at this moment because it is not on screen. As soon as they show it on FS1's graphic on the left side, I'll read that off for you. It's bugging on every stream. Yeah, it's just the website crashing out. There's probably so many people on it. I don't know how many other people are doing live commentary streams like this, but the Gnomestead, My Alaska Life. Welcome to the stream. You know what? FoxSports.com might have something. For a leaderboard. Maybe. Fox Sports, ARCA, Charlotte. I don't know if they do it for ARCA though. 2025 Coke 600. I don't even know if there's an ARCA tab. FoxSports.com. Looking for a backup. Trying to get something for visuals on the screen. I'd like to think. Oh, here's the search tab. ARCA race. And it doesn't have anything on FoxSports.com. Well, it was worth a try. One to go signal has been given. They'll be restarting this time. Bye. I'm trying to get you guys some live leaderboard updates. Once we get a few laps in the green flag, I'll try to read it off on the TV screen side of things. Lil Mike, welcome to the stream. Leslie Hansen, thanks for tuning in. Many others who have just tuned in for the first time as well. So again, Austin Green and Andy Jankowiak will be the front row for this next restart. We're going to have 43 laps to go here at Charlotte when we get back to racing.
Now Jankowiak in the 73 takes it over and starts on the outside of that 82 of Green.
Fleet broke the internet again. Yeah, it sounds like it.
See a little bit of the sun issue for just a moment over there in turn 4. Important restart here for these cars up front on older tires.
Austin Green on the inside of the 73. Jankowiak back under Green at Charlotte.
Swallows on the inside trying to push the 82 of Green by Jankowiak. Watch that 97 Grant tries to get to the high side of LeVar Scott. Get up there.
Swallows to the inside of the 73, followed closely by the 6th of Scott. On board with Hitfinger.
Battle right up here in front of Grant Hitfinger. LeVar Scott the 6 on the inside. Jankowiak the 73 on the outside.
Austin Green pulling away as he reclaims the lead off that restart. Wallace moving up to second after a really good push from the inside.
Grant Hitfinger's about time to ride behind you guys running side by side. He makes it 3 wide. Going to try a 2.
They got tight.
3 wide to the 97. Hitfinger in front of the 6 of LeVar Scott.
Looked like Andy J got a little bit up high, got the right side above the traction compound, it looked like, and lost a little bit of ground.
Jankowiak started on the outside of row 1. He is falling back to 5th.
Now Grant has some clean racetracks to see what the tires were able to do. But remember, there weren't that many laps on the tires for the Wallach, and even for Austin Green either, because we had so many caution laps. Grant had a little bit of momentum. Bob for your screen. Pulls down to the inside. And that's the 2 for. Grabs those 2 positions.
2 for 1 for Enfinger, and he's back up into third. Not trying to chase down the 18 of William Sawalich.
Austin Green is really running some good lap times. That last lap just a little bit quicker than Sawalich, who's chasing him. We'll see what Grant Enfinger is able to run this time with clean racetrack. Sawalich was the fastest car that lap. Grant Enfinger the second fastest car. But Austin Green's only about a tenth of a second off of Sawalich.
Last lap of 31.51 for the leader, Austin Green. Green out in front for the second time tonight. 5 leaders so far with 39 to go here at Charlotte.
Well, this race goes by fast. Caution flags we have. As I mentioned, only 38 laps to go. See Sawalich now moving around the racetrack, trying to find a little bit of clean air. A little bit faster than Austin was that lap, about a half a tenth.
Got a Chevrolet out front. Chevy has not won at Charlotte in the ARCA series since 2001. Right now, they've got 3 of the top 4 cars on the track.
Laney Weiss doing a nice job, Grant. We had a top 10 finish at Kansas just a couple of weeks ago.
She was 8th there. She's 10th right now. Amanda has more on Weiss.
Sort of headed this race, and she's just talking about the highs and the very highs and the very lows. Guys, I'm going to go back to the racing action for you quickly.
Weiss looking strong there in the 2 car, and it's Austin Green with William Sawalich trying to run him down with 37 to go.
There we Sawalich saw him lose a little bit of ground. He gets in that wake of the 82 car of Austin Green. Got to try to get that a little bit of air on that front end. Try to run a little bit lower, at least peek that left front headlight out a little bit to get some downforce on the front of that 18 car. Heavy traffic. Last lap, Grant Enfinger was the fastest car on the racetrack.
31 got in the way of the 18 a little bit. Had to check up getting around him.
There's no doubt. I know Matt Ross's guys did some quick repairs to the front of that car. Obviously there was a hole in that front fascia. They prepared that, but that I think it probably has affected that car a little bit, but still able to run some good lap times and try. Another caution flag now.
Caution with 35 to go.
Debris.
And Green in the 82 out in front of the 18 of William Sawalich in the Toyota. Tim Richmond pulls down pit road in the 27.
Yeah, the right front tire is down on that 27 car of Tim Richmond.
Ottawa, Illinois, 26-year-old Tim Richmond.
We should have had damage from that restart crash we had before halfway.
Big time damage with that left rear for Tim Richmond. Caution back out at Charlotte. 34 to go. Race number 5 in the ARCA Menards series. Austin Green out front.
Flat tire for Tim Richmond, cause of this most recent caution, it appears. 34 laps to go as of right now, and the ARCA General Tire 150 at Charlotte Motor Speedway for tonight's race. 76 degrees was the air temp. I'm not sure exactly what the track temp was. I didn't show it in the description before the drop of the green flag for today's race, but the temps will continue to cool as we get later into the evening and closer to the nighttime skies. Under caution for now the 4th time of the race, first since the halfway caution. We'll probably have at or around 30 laps to go on this next restart. Still about a dozen cars. Actually saw my local dirt track on there, which was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's cool. I can kind of follow along, see what's going on about 50 minutes from me. But I didn't see anything with Charlotte Motor Speedway. ARCA's website was working fine during Daytona at the start of the season, and then it was working at Talladega up until about 20 to go, and today it's been off and on. pretty much since the start. Hopefully it'll be back up and running again before the end of the race. At Outdoors, welcome to the stream. Grant was your guy before Cletus came, so I agree. Yeah, and he's got a great car. He's definitely got a good chance to win here. He definitely tells William Sawalich is not quite as quick, especially in traffic with the damage to the nose of his race car from that caution, which hovered just before the lap 50 yellow when McFarland had spun his tires on the restart. The outside lane, Isabella Robusto getting clipped by the 30 who was fishtailing. Trying to keep the car with forward momentum as cars from behind were working to get their way up to speed. Robusto T-boned into the outside wall. Spencer Gallagher hit her hard. Gallagher's car caught on fire. Luckily, everybody was checked and released from the infield care center. No injuries to record or anything of that nature, so that is good. Once again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, a little over 1 hour from now, we'll be live for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race in Charlotte. And we'll be right back at it again tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern with practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series and Sunday's Coca-Cola 600. Followed by the Xfinity Series race soon after that. Indianapolis 500 coverage will begin at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday afternoon. And our Coke 600 coverage will be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. 150 likes on the stream. Greatly appreciate that, everybody. Our goal was 100. We'll surpass that. See if we can get up to 200 now and counting as we get closer to the finish line. Austin Green, our current race leader at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The number 82 car. We've seen Green in several Xfinity Series races on a part-time basis over recent years. Has a chance to try to go into victory lane for the first time this ARCA season. Sawalich has gotten himself up to second place. Grant Enfinger's in third. LeVar Scott, it looks like, in fourth. And Thad Moffitt rounds out the top five. Cletus McFarland in sixth. Double wide and getting set for the next restart. 1 to go signal has been given to the leaders as they cross the start-finish line that last time by. Trying to follow along with the words on the restart from me. Upcoming here as, again, the leaderboard for the graphics. Showing Brendan Queen getting up against the outside wall a little earlier. Causing him to have a flat right front tire. Ended up going a couple laps down. He's still in the race, I do believe. I think he was caught up in that McFarland restart caution as well, but no major damage to his machine. Queen in 14th place right now, and I believe he'll be last on the lead lap. So he's definitely still got a shot to get a good finish out of it. We'll be exactly at 30 laps to go as the pace car pulls to pit road. Next restart underway. Green Sawalich, front row, green flag back in the air. Sawalich with a good launch on the outside, trying to retake the lead away from Green, who was the control car. As they head for turn one, Green had a great restart the last time to get ahead of Enfinger down on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's looking for the same on Sawalich. And he's clear high on Sawalich. Big block up off of turn two. Couple cars scrambling 3 wide in the back half of the top 10, exiting turn two as well. McFarland around the high side, able to get past Kowiak for 5th. First lap following the restart, led by Green. Sawalich with the damage on the nose of his race car, having a tough time trying to keep these cars at bay behind him, as well run down the driver who's got the clean air advantage of Green, leading the way. Just over a second difference between 1st and 5th back to McFarland. 13 cars on the lead lap, so Queen is actually 2 laps down still. But he is the first driver off of the lead lap at 14th. So if we start getting free pass cautions now, it could fall his way. Tim Richmond has just fallen to 2 laps down. He was on the lead lap, had that flat tire on the left front, which brought out the last yellow. Jankowiak has gotten back around McFarland for 5th that last lap. And he must have had a little bit of a slip up the lap before that, giving up the position. Got it right back very quickly. Single file and quickly spacing out are those top 5 to 6 positions now. And it looks like Richmond's got another flat left front tire. We stay green for the moment. Looks like it's tore apart his fender even more than the last one did. We'll see if we get another caution. Well, apparently they didn't buff out the scratches and buff out the damage done to his race car beforehand. It looks like there's debris laying on the back straightaway, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit lower on the racing line, but it looked like there was some debris back there. Again, we do stay green. My eyes could be deceiving me again, but I don't think they are. William Sawalich, after a couple laps into the green flag run of riding in line behind Austin Green, he's looking to take over the race lead yet again. 25 laps to go this time by. Sawalich pins his car down to the bottom of the racetrack, maybe overdrove the entry just a bit. Green in the 82 slipping up more on the second half of the corner. Wasn't able to keep his car pinned all the way down to the bottom of the track as well, all the way through the corner compared to Sawalich behind him. Now Sawalich is going to try to get his car in some clean air by running about a lane and a half wider through turns 1 and 2. So give him a bit more straightaway speed down the back and use whatever draft he can on the back straightaway to try to pull closer to green. Third place, LeVar Scott, 1.3 seconds off the lead as he tries to hold Grant Enfinger behind him, while the leaders continue to battle just up ahead. And 24 laps to go that last time by. Do I plan on watching Monaco? There's a chance. It depends on how much of my notes I still have to get done for Sunday's stream at that time. It does look like most of the debris on the bottom of the racetrack is out of the way enough. Down on that blue-white line, I'm still kind of surprised they're keeping it green, but the truck race is nearing, I guess, too. They want to get things done in a timely fashion. Little scrape of the wall up off turn 4. It looked like LeVar Scott might have brushed it. And then in that same line just behind him, Enfinger might have kissed the wall with the right rear corner panel off of turn 4. Still just over a second and a half off the lead. So Wallich is within a half a second, but he's not all over the back bumper like Green was under pressure from a few laps ago. So it looked like, showing the replay, Scott barely kept it off the wall. Enfinger did not. Didn't hit it anywhere near as hard as what Queen did earlier in the race, causing a flat tire. Just kind of sideswiped that right rear corner panel, getting just a little bit wide. Just a product of trying to get back into the gas as soon as he possibly could. McFarland dropping back to 7th with the damage to his car. Patterson takes over the 6th spot. Half a second. 21 laps to go. 2.2 seconds back to Enfinger in 4th place. So Walsh is digging. You can really see the nose of his car wiggling around a ton as he tries to get that middle groove working through turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4 for the most part. He's still been down towards the bottom of the racetrack on that white line. Does it again here. Same line as the leader. And the closer it gets to the back bumper of the leader, the worse and worse the dirty air is going to get, especially with the damage already to the nose of the 18 from earlier. Still going to get into heavier lap traffic at some point before the end of the race for these top 2 positions. That could be the difference maker in allowing Sawalich to catch up a bit, get this race leader in a bit more dirty air than what he has had so far. Enfinger is not running quite as quick lap time-wise compared to those top 2. He was 2.2 seconds back a few laps ago. Now he's down to 2.8. And it's a 2.5 second gap to Scott in 3rd. So Walsh and Green seem to be settling this amongst themselves here if it stays green to the 20 laps, especially knowing that we went green with 30 to go on that last restart. It's going to be a sprint from here to the end. Don't know if we've necessarily seen the last caution yet either. Queen is a couple of laps down, looking to make a pass on Patterson for 6, but remember that Queen is not on the lead lap, and you just wonder what could have been if he was on the lead lap. He would have a very good shot at getting a top 5. Even after hitting the wall a little bit earlier on and cutting the right front tire. Just goes to show he just didn't have that much damage. It was just more a product of having to pit under green and falling off the lead lap. And you go 1 lap down, a lot easier to try to come back from it. 2 laps down, it's next to impossible. Especially in an ARCA field where we see a lot of cars off the lead lap like we've had for most of the day. So Walsh slipping away from Green. Green about 2/10 quicker than the second place car behind him that last time by. LeVar Scott actually a little bit quicker than the 2 leaders in front of him that last lap. He was about 2.5 seconds back, and now it's down to 2.2. So Walsh now almost a second off the lead as Green is really starting to put himself some distance between first and second. 15 laps to go this time by. Green working his way into turn 3. Scott's still 2.2 seconds off the lead. He's definitely closing on Sawalich for second place. 32.07 that last lap to a 32.36 for Green. Scott was the quickest on the racetrack. Enfinger 31.9 just behind him.
Somewhat comfortable gap right now. But going around some lap cars as you see Sawalich drive underneath the lap car with that Starkey Toyota. He's not done racing this weekend. We'll see him in the Xfinity race tomorrow.
Can't
Joe
wait.
gets racing.
He's had a couple of top 10s so far this season at Kona as well as Atlanta.
And these laps are going to help him there. He might not win this race. He might not be able to catch Austin Green, but these laps will help him for that Xfinity race.
Big time. For his confidence as well. We talked about that it's been a challenging season in his first year as a full-time Xfinity driver. And how about the 25 of the Dr. Patrick Staropoli up into the top 10?
We
Doctor!
talked about him getting that opportunity a number of years ago with that peak challenge. And that was right here. Right here is at this racetrack is where he won that award. And he's side by side with Laney Bice. But a little bit loose down there. That was Sibovri Toyota. Such a heartbreak for him at Kansas. Had a good car. Kansas lost an engine really early on. But another solid top 10 run here for Pat Staropoli.
Yeah, the 25, Staropoli back running for Venturini this week. The retinal surgeon. 13 to go. Enfinger in 4th behind the 6 of LeVar Scott. Started 9th. He was 5th at lap 22 and into 3rd here getting late.
Caught a glimpse of Laney Bice in that battle with Staropoli. She's done a nice job battling back. She had some damage from that restart crash we had. A lot of tape and Barabond on the front of her red racing car. She's again up in the top 10, just like she did at Kansas.
So good for these young drivers, right? To have to fight through adversity. I mean, maybe not in the moment, it's not fun, but over the course of time, I would think you would look back and say, all right, we had to go through that. Maybe it was a good learning opportunity.
Saw Grant Enfinger go way up the racetrack trying to find some more grip, and you see all the momentum he's gaining right now on LeVar Scott. LeVar had to go around the lap car. Both these drivers putting that traction compound to good use.
10 laps to go this time by for Green. Lead is almost 2 seconds over Sawalich, who is losing a lot of time to the leader. And again, 3rd and 4th place have been quicker than Sawalich, trying to run him down for 2nd, that being LeVar Scott and Grant Enfinger. Andy Jankowiak in 5th, Patterson 6th, Dad Moffitt 7th. 8th place for Cletus McFarland now. Bice in 9th, and Staropoli rounds out the top 10. Scott with a big loose moment, wiggling the rear of his car around off turn 2, and here comes Enfinger for 3rd. Taking a peek to the inside as they enter turns 1 and 2, Enfinger to the bottom of the track. Scott drives it in deep on entry, loses the rear again, but holds on, at least for now, as he races his way off turn 4 and actually extends his gap. Enfinger might have lifted a little extra, thinking that car in front of him was going to go around. Scott was dirt tracking it all the way through 3 and 4. In this battle for third, they've lost a little bit of time, though, to Sawalich. They were gaining a lot of time on him for a long while. Got to within a half a second. As the battle intensified behind him, it allowed for Sawalich to pull away just a bit. Enfinger around the top side of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4. He's been nearly on the wall the last several laps, as he does again there. And another loose moment for Scott off turn 4. Might have grazed the wall with the right rear quarter panel again. Enfinger closes to the back bumper on entry into 1, and then Enfinger overdrives the entry and gives that time right back up again through 1 and 2. And that is a battle for third going on between Scott and Enfinger. Sawalich is only 4 to the outside to split around the lapper in the middle. Oh my gosh, that lap car didn't give a lot of room to Enfinger. Up off the exit of the corner, but Grant stays in it. Continues to pursue the second and third place cars just ahead. 10 cars are on the lead lap. Ice is about to go a lap down in 10. McFarland has dropped to 9th, Staropoli up to 8th now. Enfinger again. To the wall on the outside. LeVar Scott in the middle gets very loose. He's going to slide all the way into that outside right in front of Enfinger, and Enfinger crosses him over to the inside. And clear into turn 1 for third. So Enfinger going to make the pass. It's a 3.5 second lead for Austin Green with about 5.5 laps to go at Charlotte. Sawalich is in second. Enfinger playing defense on Scott into 3 and 4. Scott with a big run off the high side through 1 and 2. He's been dealing with a very loose race car, though. He goes to the bottom of the track and just can't hold it there. Slips all the way to the outside. Enfinger with another great run off turn 4. This time it's a pass for second and goes to the top side to try to get it done on Sawalich. And he uses the lap car as a pick to the bottom. Sawalich had to lift to get out of the way of him. And not only Sawalich loses second, but he might lose third place to Scott. Scott's clear off turn 2 for third. Sawalich fading late in the run. 4 laps to go this time by at the line. 3-car battle for second place continues with Enfinger in that spot for the time being. Enfinger was 0.3 quicker than Austin Green that last lap, but he's running out of time and probably needs a caution to have any sort of a shot to win this race. Austin Green in a league of his own. Just lapped Cletus McFarland through turns 1 and 2 that last time by. Cletus is the first car lap down in 9th. Damage from an earlier incident from the 30. Staropoli and Moffitt might fall off the lead lap in these waning laps as well. They're far enough off the lead to do it. Lap times of just under 32 seconds at times still. Tires are holding on a lot better than I thought they were going to coming into the night. Seems like on the fire off, the fresh tires matter, but once you settle in after a few laps, it's fine. Get the heat cycle in them. A few more lappers up ahead for Green. 2 laps to go. He's just looking to get to the white flag now. He's 1.5 miles away from getting there, 3 miles away from the checkered. Lead is still 3.2 seconds to Enfinger in second. Sawalich is already 4.5 seconds off the lead. He put a real bit of pressure on Green real early in this run. That last restart took place with 30 laps to go. So it'd actually be tied for the longest green flag run of the race, which would be the first 30 laps going caution-free to the first yellow. White flag in the air for Green as he works his way through turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Laps Moffitt up off of the exit of the corner. 6 cars are going to finish this race on the lead lap. 1 in the lead position, the 82 of Austin Green, will pick up his first ARCA win of 2025. Congratulations to Austin Green for winning the General Tire 150 at Charlotte. Grant Enfinger in second, LeVar Scott third, William Sawalich in fourth, and Andy Jankowiak round out the top 5. Patterson 6th, Moffitt 7th, Staropoli 8th, McFarland 9th, and Bice rounds out the top 10. And again, only 6 cars finish on the lead lap. Cosentino 11th, Schofield 12th, Lawless Allen in 13th, Butterbean Queen 14th, 17th, Goodale in 18th, Alex Club 19th, Brayton Laster rounds out the top 20, which is all I could see on the screen on FS1 at once. And if we get the finishing results at some point here on ARCA.com as well, I'll be sure to go through the full field results in this one. But that at least was your top 20. You'll hear from your race winners, some of the other top finishers in our brief post-race show. And for those of you that might be tuning out, again, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more NASCAR content. More to come here today. Craftsman Truck Series race at 8:30 p.m. Eastern later tonight. Double headers tomorrow and Sunday to round out our Indy 500 and Coke 600 live commentary coverage this weekend. Did get to our goal of 100 likes again, so greatly appreciate that, everybody. We had over 300 people in the chat there for a while. We're at one big burnout on the front stretch for Green. And here is your race winner with his interview.
We had so many storylines that we documented coming into this race. I don't know if either of us thought that it would be Austin Green taking the checkered flag, but here he is.
Yeah, we knew he would be a contender, but the 18 and the 28 was so strong in practice. They appeared to be the two best cars, along with the 69 of Will Kimmel.
Austin started fourth in this race on the outside of row 2. He leads 51 laps and wins it.
What a huge day for that young man.
A 24-year-old from Concord, North Carolina, in that Pinnacle Racing Group Chevrolet takes the win to kick off this fantastic motorsports weekend, and Alex is standing by with a winner.
We talked about it in those final closing laps, Austin Green, the history that your family has in NASCAR, the history that you have at this racetrack. You grew up as a kid racing beneath the shadows of Charlotte Motor Speedway, and now you win the big track. How does it feel?
I mean, it's the greatest, obviously getting to race at home and have the success and let alone win. I haven't won in a while, so yeah, the last couple laps was just, tearing up a little bit, but no, just hats off to everyone at PRG and Overplay Games. I brought a wicked fast car. I think short run, could have been a little bit, better, but I think with traffic and kind of learning how to do the whole aero blocking deal, and I don't know, it was a good day, and you made a lot of good changes, and it was a really solid car. And it's my sister's 28th today, so I guess there's no better present.
We talked about your career and the twists and turns and the roller coasters. What kind of statement does this make of you being deserving of an opportunity?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you're always going to have those people that, say, oh, he didn't make this race, or, he finished 30th in this race. So I think everything's just kind of falling into place. It's all God's timing. And, I think today we showed people what we can do. And no, it was a good race with Emfinger and the 18. So they're really, really solid, and congrats to them as well.
Austin Green is your winner here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The hometown kid gets his first ever ARCA Menards Series. Amanda, who do you have?
Alex, I got a guy that's got to go get ready for a trucks race. And Grant, it looked like the car came alive there at the end. What did you find?
It did. I feel like the second half of both those runs, we had good pace. The first run, I was a little loose. We were really loose in practice here. So Frank, Doug Howell, all these guys at CR7 Motorsports, they did a great job adjusting the car. It was way better than it was in practice. But I think I asked them to over adjust it a little bit there. So got tight there at the end. It's fun racing with these guys. I think if I could have shooken out into second place a little sooner, maybe we would have had something. But congratulations to Austin and David Green. I know that's a special feeling for them. But yeah, we had good speed. Got the top line working in 3 and 4. Feel like the first half of the run, we were making all our money in 1 and 2. And then the second half of the race, we were making it in 3 and 4. So Track was racy tonight, and I feel like they did a good job with the prep. And hopefully we can make as many improvements on our truck as we did the car.
And Grant had the first thing out of the race car, went over to LeVar Scott with a big handshake, guys.
And they both were able to get.
All right, there were interviews from your top two finishers today. Austin Green, Grant Enfinger, P1, P2 race win going to Austin Green. Again, congratulations to him. And for Enfinger, good luck to what is coming up still today, the Craftsman Truck Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Our live commentary coverage for that will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, a little less than 50 minutes from now. And again, quickly, tomorrow's live commentary coverage, doubleheader as well, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series. We live for Xfinity Series racing at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And live in the afternoon with the NASCAR Cup Series coverage, the Coca-Cola 600 at 5:30 p.m. Thank you all for tuning in, whether you are new or returning viewers. Hope to see you later tonight and through the rest of this weekend's events. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're only 4 away from 200. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, on the road to 7,000. And I will see you guys in a bit again. Thank you all so much, as always, for your appreciation and support. And see you later tonight.